Hello, this is David Baumblatt from Terebinth Leadership. Today, we are going to be talking about race. Yes, there's a war going on in Iran. We'll get with another episode, but this topic of race, believe it or not, it relates. Why? Because the weak white man, and I've said many times, most of my, I don't want to say fury, but most of the betrayal focuses on white men and white women. And the point being is even this war in Iran is a betrayal. It doesn't really help us. So I want to make it known. Now, the second is we're going to be talking about race. We're going to focus on a particular race, the African race, the Black race, but I could do other videos, especially on Asians. But just this topic alone, if you're an American, particularly a white American, how uncomfortable are you with this topic? Now, when I left America in 2010, I think I was probably, I guess you could say, the typical American, where, yeah, America's a racist country. I guess white guys are racist. But after living in China, I've changed a lot. And so the point is as we do this conversation, you ask yourself, and again, my audience is generally white people, but if you're not, I'd be happy to have conversations or healthy debates with other people. But I focus particularly on the white man. Have you, Mr. White Man in America, lived as a racial minority? Have you? For at least a year or more? And even if you're a racial minority, were you 49% or you, like me, less than 1%? The point being is leadership, lead by example. And the point of, unless you realize what life is like as a racial minority, you may not understand these concepts, or you may disagree with me, but you lack experience. And that experience, especially me living in China, has changed me. Now, one thing is, again, we're going to focus on Black people. But to the Black people in America, I say this: if you think life is bad, and I should make this point, this is an interesting point. We have a lot of videos to go through, but let me make this point to the Black people. If you think life is bad in America for you or whatever, Western Europe under the white man, I want you to ask yourself, who treats you better than the white man? No one. Even blacks. Even blacks don't treat you. You think Asian people are going to treat you better? No one. Really think about it. Ask yourself. Show a Black person when they get money. They usually, we say white people don't want to live around Black people. I think the better question is, why don't Black people want to live around Black people? It's probably a better question. Show me a Black person that gets money, they'll move out of the Black neighborhoods. Show me a Black person that has money, probably chasing white women. So the question more is, ask yourself, if it's a Black person, who has treated you better than a white man? And if you say Black people, well, I don't see you wanting to go back to Africa. I don't even see you wanting to live in Black communities. You think Asians are going to treat you better? We could go on and on. What I do want to do is we're going to do a very short clip from Donald Trump. And people know me. I'm losing appeal for Donald Trump, but this video is one of the reasons that he was able to form his base in America. And this is one of the key points. Let's just watch this. We're going to do the whole clip, but this goes into what I'm saying here.
When Congressman Elijah Cummings calls you a racist, your reaction is what?
Well, I think the word has really gone down a long way because everybody's called a racist now.
And this is the point that we're making. This word racist has gotten so diluted.
Her own party called Nancy Pelosi a racist 2 weeks ago. The word is so overused, it's such a disgrace. And I can tell you, I'm the least racist person there is in the world, as far as I'm concerned. And they use it almost when they run out of things to criticize you. They say, he's a racist, he's a racist. Now, in some cases, it's true. There are people that are racist, bad people. But
so generally speaking, I say this, the reason why the white man, and if someone ever said, David, you're a racist, no, I'm a white man from Western countries, America. America is the least racist country in the world, and the white man's the least racist. If you don't believe me, what country? It's not China. But the one thing is we have to understand is I guess you could say the point that makes a lot of white men nervous is this term called racist. And I do believe Donald Trump has done amazing strides in that, to where sooner or later, white men, it has to be like that water off a duck's back, where you're like, doesn't mean anything to me anymore. Because the truth is, America's the least racist country. If you don't believe me, then what country would it be? Other than maybe another Western white country. And the white man is the least racist man. If you don't believe me, who is it going to be? It ain't the Chinese, that's for sure. So once this comes into the point, this attack of you're a racist doesn't mean anything. And by doing that, once you realize that, you can have these conversations much more in depth. Now, it is true, and if you are a Black person in the audience, what I'm about to say is going to make you uncomfortable. This is part of the truth, though. I think the key, though, is am I saying this with ill intent? Not at all. But the truth has to come out because America, along with the Western world, is falling. And it's falling because I put all the blame, literally, I put 100% of the blame on white men. And part of the ways for the white men to rise, because you have to stand up, is through that courage, through wisdom. Wisdom is going to give you that courage. And I even believe it too. One of the reasons that white women are not finding white men attractive is this sense of weakness. And I say this again, the same reason that these MAGA people, and I'm not a really big fan of these MAGA, for the same reason that Donald Trump mentioned the rhinos, we had that same concept with MAGA. So I said this many times, the same reason that MAGA makes fun of the liberals for not recognizing that gender is real. The same reason, if you're a nationalist, you make fun of these MAGA people as really dumb, retarded people. Race is real. If you don't believe race is real, it's similar to talking to a person who says gender is not real. What do you do with that person? You basically walk away with them and say, good luck with living in whatever fantasy world you are. But as I said, it's the same thing where the MAGA people make fun. So let's start with the first video here, and we're going to start rolling off. And what I'm trying to do is give it time. I'm going to base this in psychological analysis, especially my time in Asia, where sometimes you do run into Africans, either from Africa to Africa or African American, and there's a difference. It's pretty interesting. Let's get this first video here knocked out so then we could talk about it. 1 second. It's right here.
Women, how many times have you been on a date with a white man and they ask if you've been with a Black person before? Because I asked some of my white friends this question, and like a lot of the girls were like, this is a question like I got mixed responses, right? Some say that people ask like a lot, others say that they kind of like will sneak the question in once in a little bit. And I just want to know, like personally, if you are a white woman who's been on a date with white men, have the white man asked you unprompted if you've been with Black people before?
Okay, so I'm going to answer that. To a white woman, and I prefer white women. Obviously, I've dated a lot of Asian women. I'm in Asia, but I always prefer, my number one preference is white women. Preferably, the more blonde, the more blue eyes you are. I mean, generally speaking, the more I find you attractive, which is also, by the way, the world, which goes to that point. So I'm going to answer his question. Have I ever specifically asked a white woman that? Maybe, I don't know, but let's just get to the point. If a white woman I know that I'm dating has had sex with one Black man or more, just let's say she becomes less and less attractive to me. So let me repeat this, and I'm going to put it down. If a white woman says, I have had sex with a Black man, right then and there, she loses value in me. The more Black men she's had sex with, the less and less value. Now, why is that? Let's do a psychoanalysis. Why would I? Now, truth be told, if a woman in general has said that she's had sex with someone else, meaning she's not a virgin and she's had sex with more and more people, that also lowers her value. But considering a white woman, if she said this with white men and Black men, both lowering the value, but more so with Black men. If she said Indian men or Asian men, same sort of thing, lowering value. But why is that? Why is it with the Black men? Well, let's just start with human nature. Whether you know this or not, we live in a hierarchical society. I didn't do the rules. You, the audience, the human beings on this planet have done that. I'm going to give you an example. We're just going to say men's height. I didn't come out with the rules and saying because men that are taller must be higher valued by women. I didn't come up with that rule. Nature has. So if you're a short man, don't blame me, blame the laws of nature, but women will look up to you. Now with women, if you're a very attractive woman, which I agree, attractiveness is in the eye of the beholder, but same thing, height is attractive. But we all know, all men in the world know that attractive women have an easier life. Ugly women don't, or ugly women are going to have a harder life. We didn't make the rules, but we all know attractive women, because men pursue attractive women, we give them benefits. If you're an ugly woman, we don't. Is that unfair? Perhaps you could say that. The same thing, tall men, same thing if you're rich, if you're poor, if you're smart. So the first thing I want to get into is, this is why Americans, you're communists, the Chinese aren't. The Chinese, along with these other non-white, live in a very hierarchical structure. We in America want to fool ourselves with this concept called communism that says everyone's equal. Now, I do believe in a spiritual sense, you could say we're all stardust and we're all equal. I'm not going to argue with that. And I'll say that is possibly right. But in the conventional sense of living in a human society, the laws of nature, we live in a hierarchical society. Rich people have privilege, tall people, beautiful people. I mean, we could go down I hope we know that. But then what is this thing called race, though? Why is race hierarchical? Don't ask me, ask yourself. What do I mean by that? Well, now it goes into the black people. To the black people, the reason why non-black people, non-blacks, look down upon you. Maybe look down upon is a strong word, but maybe look upon you as at the lower level of hierarchy. Now, there's other things that black people could bring. What about a rich black person? What about a black person who's really, really good looking? What about a black? Yeah, I get it. But generally speaking, race alone, black people are at the lowest level of hierarchy. Now, you might say, David, who said so? Is that a rule? Is that a law? How dare you? I didn't say so. You said so. Who am I pointing to? I'm pointing to black people. What do I mean by that? Very simple. Before, to the black people, before other races respect you, you have to respect yourself. I mean by that because your preference, black people, is, along with other races, is you prefer white over black. You have put us on a pedestal. And I've seen this with other races. I know this for a fact in Asia. I didn't go to Asia and say, hi, I'm a white man, and you Asian people, particularly Asian women, have to worship me. I never said that. That's the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard. But I go to Asia, and I'm telling you, they worship white men. What do you want me to do about it? Change it? I can't change it. They need to change it. So do Asian people, and oh, by the way, Asian people look down upon black people. If you, again, to the black people, you think white people treat you bad, you have no clue. So in Asia, now some people might say, but that's history, that's colonial. You could do whatever excuse you want, but it is what it is. Now, in the future, maybe 100 years from now, maybe it'll change, maybe so. But in my lifetime, this has been the case. It's not been because white people have ordered you or said, not in my personal case at all. So in Asia, white men by Asian women are worshiped. Oh, by the way, Asian men also worship white women. Did we do anything about it? Not anything directly. So now we go back to black people. Black people, you put white people on a pedestal. Now, how do we do it? And we're going to do some more videos here, but let's think about it. Let's look at black men. Show me a black man that will not prefer, and we'll say, an attractive looking white woman over an attractive looking black woman. That's called an anomaly. Most black men are pursuing white women. It's obvious. Are white men pursuing black women? Not really. Not. I've never. And here's also another uncomfortable statistic to look at. And I've said this before. Based upon human beings, the most unattractive racial women on this planet are black women. It sounds unpolite. It's a stat we don't want to hear. And I, by all means, let the human beings change it if they want. But it is what it is. Black women are the most unattractive by race. When it comes to men, it's Asian men. I didn't make the rules again. So why are Asian men on the lowest of the low and black women lowest of the low? It's because of what people prefer. And this is not just in America. People think, no, this is just America. No. If you go around the world, the most attractive woman and man in the world is going to be a white man or white woman. The tall, blonde hair, blue eyes. Go to Africa. Ask African women, African men. go to Asia, go to India. It's the same thing. Now, again, you can continue to do excuses and say this is from colonialization, but even the countries that have been colonialized are very thankful that they've been colonialized. Singapore and Hong Kong come to my mind. But it is what it is. Maybe it'll change in 100 years, where Black people are the highest preferred and white people are the lowest. Perhaps, I don't know. But all I could say, that's how it is. So we're going to focus on Black people, and it sounds like I'm sneering them. I'm not. The only people that I really find disgusting in this world are white men and white women. They're the ones who have destroyed our countries. I don't look at Black people or Asian people or Indian people as anything as remotely as betraying the West. I look upon you as a very, I'm trying to look the words, but the same reason I went to China. I went to China with noble reasons. What was that? To study about the Chinese. I didn't go to China for the women. I didn't even go to China for the money. I just went to China because I knew that there was this growing country, which China before was in many ways a great civilization, and I wanted to learn. So I became a student and I allowed China to become a teacher. That's a very noble thing to do in terms of not being the imperialistic white man. However, during my time in China and in Asia, I've learned more and more that, wow, it's good to be white. And what the Western world has done through the strong white men in the past has been remarkable. And the reason why the West is falling is, again, weak white men. So let's go through some more chats so you can understand what I'm saying about, but I go back to the same point. The reason that Blacks are at the lowest level of racial hierarchy, it's not so much that white people or Asian people look upon that. The first and foremost people to take responsibility of that are Black people. And Black people, if you continue to not prefer to marry a Black person, if you continue to not prefer to live among Black people, if you continue to not prefer to live in Africa, have you ever learned an African language? Probably not. So your preference of not wanting to associate yourself with Black, most Black people do sometimes because they have no other choice. But show me a Black person who has it, even Black people who leave America and they say, this country's going downhill, I'm leaving. Where do you go? You go to Europe. You go to another white country. Very few Black people say, I'm going to leave America and I'm going to go back to Africa. Why? Because you look down upon Black people. And I say again, if Black people look down upon Black people, then why should I do anything different as a white guy? It's sort of like that. Now, Asian, it's similar in fashions, we could talk about it, but at the lowest level of hierarchy, it's Black. Because I can tell you, if you're a Black person, generally speaking, you don't want to live in Asia. It's going to be really bad. Let's go through some more videos and let it extrapolate. This is a key point with white women. Now, I look at white women as many times as piece of shit. I don't say this with other women, but we're going to go into it. But this is a great point with a white woman.
Your virginity to a Black guy or a white guy?
I don't discriminate on race. It depends on the person.
Now, she's trying to be politically correct, because most white women are bimbos in the West. I mean, they're walking whores. So notice she's cool. She's like, I don't discriminate against race. We all discriminate against race. She's trying to be nice, but let's keep going.
So you don't think it has anything to do with it, color?
No, it has to do with energy.
Energy.
Yeah.
Whatever that means. Again, the reason that the West is falling is white men should have never allowed white women to be in positions of power, meaning giving them the right to vote. This white woman has no clue what she's talking about, and she's the majority. And you think white men should have given white women the right to vote? Who's more retarded, white women or white men? We were absolutely retarded to give white women the right to vote. Keep going. We're gonna focus on her in another video.
High vibrational energy. There can be a low vibrational white guy and a high vibrational Black guy. I would choose the high vibrational guy.
Okay, did anyone make sense of what that bullshit was? Let's go to the next video on her. So remember, this woman was like, she does not discriminate against race. We all do, by the way. But guess what else?
They'd have to be really special, like really special. They'd have to be like.
1 second.
Can you date a guy younger than you?
I don't think so.
What?
They'd have to be really special.
So it looks like she does discriminate. We all know this. Women discriminate against men for their height, for their money, for their age. I mean, but why is this racial thing? And the person to blame is not white women, it's white men. Because we are cucks when it comes to the topic of race. Total cucks. And white women have learned that from us. So you can discriminate. Women know that. It's okay to discriminate against a man for many things, but this racial now Asian women will say it. Asian women will come straight out. They're like, I want white men or I want Asian men. That's it. They're like, I don't date black men. It's pretty interesting. But in the West, because white men have become cucks, we are afraid to talk about this topic of race. And guess what? The white women have learned it. Because I say again, white women, we know, they discriminate against everything. Why don't they discriminate against race? And they do subliminally discriminate against race, but they're afraid to say it. Why? Because white men are afraid to talk about race.
Like really special. They'd have to be like such an old soul and like really have their shit together.
They got to be an old soul. Okay. Again, another reason why white women should have never been allowed to vote.
Can you respect the younger man?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, sure. Great. So what I want to do is let me get to the next video because this is pretty interesting. I don't know if it's this next video. Okay, this is very important. You see, and we're going to get back to the black topic, but I want to go on this. How many times have you heard on dating shows, not like I watch much dating shows, but I see it on YouTube, where it's either the white man or the white woman, and they ask your preference for a man or woman, and the topic of race comes up. And it's usually both. The white man and the white women that are horrified to be called a racist, they say, we don't discriminate against race. I'll date anyone. Why? Why is it so difficult to say that? Because here's the point. I'm going to relate that, Psychology 101, to another topic, and they're related. One topic is called race, and the other topic is called gender, meaning transsexuals, whatever, lady, boys, transsexuals. And you know it, that there's a push now to get men to date transsexuals. And if you don't date transsexuals, then you're homophobic or transphobic or something like that. And the point being is it's the same, this is Communism 101. The same thing that says you must, because white men and white women are terrified to say, I don't prefer to date Asian, or I don't prefer to date black, I only prefer to date white. You know that. In contemporary society, it's very uncomfortable to say that. It shouldn't be. We should all have our preferences. Just the opposite. If someone said, something, I don't like white men and I don't want to date white men, I don't have a problem with it. But white men and white women were worried about that. So that same type of thing of having a fear to be called a racist, it pushes white men and it pushes white women to not be a racist and date outside your race. Guess what that same phobia is going toward? Transsexuality. It's the same thing. It's related.
So I know that people are trying. It is complicated.
I kind of like Candace Owens. Oh, by the way, who did Candace Owens, a black woman, who did she marry? She married a white man. Same thing, Candace. I really like how Candace is talking about the Israel topic. I think there's a part about Erica Kirk. I like what she's talking about. But I don't know Candace Owens' stance on race. Well, you all know my stance, and I've said many times, black women also prefer white men. Now, there's going to be black women saying, that's total lie. I know, you just don't know the truth. But Candace Owens, I like how she talks. I don't know her that well. But Candace Owens, I don't know her stance on the racial thing, but she dated a white man. Why? Because white men are at the top of the line of hierarchy, and she wants to do that. What do I think she should have done? I think she should have gotten a nice black man. There's plenty of smart, good-looking. So I keep saying this to the black people. When a black woman pursues a white man, that's how it is. Trust me, white men are generally not pursuing black women. And when a black man chooses a white woman, because again, white women generally are not pursuing black men, what does that do to black people? It basically says they look upon you as a lower status. Not me. I don't really have a problem with it, but it is what it is. So when Candace Owens chose a white man over black men, you don't need to ask me why black men are lower status. You probably want to ask Candace. That would be a good question.
Would any of you date a trans person?
No.
Me personally, I would not. Would you consider it to be gay for a man to date a trans woman?
So again, I think we're still good that a white man can say, no, I don't prefer to date a trans person. But even the thought of that question being posed to you now is really amazing how we've changed. Do you really think 50 years ago, I mean, unless you're just a full-blown homosexual, right? You're like, I'm homosexual, that's it. But to ask a self-identifying heterosexual man, would you date a transsexual? What are you, fucking retarded? I just told you I'm heterosexual. Hey man, what are you fucking? So just the thought that this is being, because I do believe there are going to be white men that feel uncomfortable with this question to the point of them saying, well, you know, I don't prefer it, but okay, I guess so if they're a good person. I'm telling you, it started with racial, and that's where you're seeing this transsexual thing. Because we didn't put the foot down on race. And what do I mean put the foot down? Just being open and honest and saying, no, I mean, I could date people outside my race. I dated Asian women, but every Asian woman that I've dated knows, oh, I prefer white women. End of story. And I've said many times, 90% of white men with Asian women are only with Asian women, except, you know, mistress or a sex friend. I'm talking, you know, really marrying them, you know, having kids with them. They're only there probably 90% because they couldn't get a top quality white woman. I'd say only about 10% of white men are with Asian women, and that is their number one choice. I'd say that low. But anyway, I think you understand my point about this whole, this started with the movement of white men and white women being uncomfortable with the racial topic. So we've been persuaded for interracial dating and marriage. That same thing's with the transsexual. It's related.
Yes. Two people that have penises. I don't care how you feel on your inside. I don't care.
So again, what Candace Owens is saying here, I totally agree with her. I would be interested. I don't know if I've ever heard her talk about the racial topic. And considering that she chose a white man to be her husband, she might be what I would say very woke when it comes to race. Like, man, we're all people here. I'm a Christian. We're all people. Yeah, when it comes to this sexuality, though, Candace takes a hard and legitimate, smart stance. I would curious her stance on race. My advice, and I've said many times, it's a free world, do what you want. But I've also said there's a difference between dating people, but I really put the foot down, for lack of a better word, is when you have children. Because your mixed children are not going to only affect you, they're going to affect society. And I really, my definitely recommendation is when it's time to have children, marry within or have children within your race. Don't believe me? Have fun with mixed kids. You'll see it. But Candace Owens could have also found other mixed kids. She could have found an Asian man. She could have found an Indian man. Do you think it's just out of the blue that she chose a white man? Because white men, we are at the highest level of hierarchy. And a lot of black men would say, bullshit, I don't agree. Then ask the black women, man, because I'm telling you, black women are chasing white men, just like you black men are chasing white women. It's the truth. It's a hard truth, but we have to talk about it.
If you dress and you wear a dress, you wear a wig. If you come together and you have sex, you're gay. And I think that is homosexual, right? So I know that people are trying, it is convoluted. So I understand why you're like, they're trying to make it something else and it's in your head. And well, what if you feel like a woman? It's very simple. If you are a man and you are having sex with a man, irrespective of how you feel or whether or not you've mutilated your body or you've chopped something.
Okay, I think we get what she's talking about. I agree. The homosexual thing is a different topic, but the point being is you are seeing this sort of pressure of straight men, not just white men, but straight men to date transsexual women or transsexual men. It's pretty interesting. And you don't think that was a correlation with the same thing of, hey man, be liberal, don't be a racist, you know, date outside your race? Because we all know that if we'll say Prince Harry, part of the reason I think Prince Harry, who could have gotten a top-notch white woman, part of the reason I think Prince Harry received so much press was, look at him, he's so cool, he's so open, he's so woke, he's got a black wife, and right? So, but if you're a white man that says, no, I only prefer to date or marry or have kids with a white woman, you're sort of looked down upon. You're sort of like same thing with a white woman. We know that there's a bit of pressure versus a white man saying, man, I love black women. Black women are my number one choice. We have to ask ourselves, why is that? Where is this coming from? And you know it's related to the ongoing persuasion toward straight men to be with transsexual women. It's something going on. Let's go to the next video and then I'll comment.
Black women have to stop.
Okay, so here we come. And so again, to the black men, the reason why white women are at the highest level of hierarchy in society is partly because you black people, you black men put white women over black women. I didn't do that. I didn't force you. You did it yourself. Well, then white women. So if you're a black woman starring, it's not me doing it, I'd probably look at black men and say, why are black men chasing white women? That's why the white women are such on a hierarchy. Let's look at this video.
Big difference between the snow bunny and the African queen is the snow bunny will find a black man in progress. She will find him on the job. She will find him.
Oh, don't fool yourself. I look at these white women as whores, betrayers. Yeah, they're a piece of shit. Trust me. I see these white women with these black men. It's pretty disgusting. We can do another video why, but yeah. So, but to the black men, it's also really disrespectful to your black mother. Basically, it says, hi, mom, I think you're ugly. I think white women are better looking to you, and I want my genetic lineage to go toward white women. It's a slap in the face. Whether you believe it or not, it's a major. Remember, I'm a white guy in Asia. Do you know how easy it is for me to have mixed kids? You know how much money I've been offered for my sperm in Asia to have it? Not interested. Just not interested. It's a sign of respect for a son to say, I want a woman or children to look like my mother. It's also a sign of respect for the daughter to say, I want a man to have children with that is in the line of my father. It's a sign of respect. When you go outside that, it's basically like you look at your mom and dad and say, no, I'm not interested. But me, I can lead by example. I could have easily had so many mixed kids in Asia. It's not for me. So to the black men, guess what you're doing to your black mother, to the black women? It's up to you. You do it. I mean, that's why black men don't have a very high level in society. They have the lowest level. Not for me. It's kind of what the statistics are.
On the university, and that snow bunny will see a black man with potential, and she will invest in him. She will help him level up. And then when the sisters see him 5 years ago, 5 years later, he's a millionaire, and the sisters say, look at that sellout. He went and got a white girl. But guess what? When he was looking for
just curious, why don't these black athletes get Asian women, get Indian women, get Arab women, get Spanish women? Why is it seen that they want particularly white women if they could do it? Why? Because black men look upon white women as the highest level hierarchy to include beauty. I didn't say it, they did.
Sister to help him level up, to invest in him. None of them wanted it. You know why? Too many black women want a finished product. Black women have to, stay with me. Black women have to stop expecting men to be a finished product. It's harder on us.
Again, why is it black women and white women? Why aren't they talking about other races? Because they want white women. White women are the prize, just like white men are the prize. I didn't say it, they said it.
Help him level up. Stay with me. Help him level up and become what you need him to be. Because the big reason why these snow bunnies are running off with black men is they're meeting them when they have nothing, but they believe in their vision. And black women are.
No, I wouldn't say that. I'd say a lot of these white women are whores. They're going with these black men for generally speaking, when a white woman really commits to a black man, marriage and kids, I believe it has a lot to do with finances. That's why you hear about, and we're going to go another episode with the black athletes. It's not that they're athletes. It's mostly they're rich. That's what I would say. And that's why I look at these white women as whores, really whores. So it's not. So what we're going to do too, and it's not just, this is a quick video, but it's the same thing. Let's look at this.
A guy can have.
Okay, so the reason is this guy's a Spanish guy and he's in Scandinavia. Do you know how many black guys and Spanish guys and Arab guys love Scandinavian women? Because I keep saying the blonde hair, blue eyes. why don't you, like, you hear this thing called the passport bros. I guess in some ways I could be that, but I didn't leave for women. But you don't hear these guys saying, I want to go to India. I want to go to Africa. You know what? Why don't you hear passport bros saying, I'm going to Africa and I'm going to get myself a beautiful African woman? Why? I can tell you something though, going to Europe and the Northern Europe to get they are flocking. So what does that mean? It means white women, particularly these blondes, are the highest level. Again, you have to look at the men. And guess what? Guess where women are flocking to? White men. So the point is, we have to admit, we live in a hierarchical society, but these rules aren't set in stone. They're just set by what people supply and demand. And whatever excuse you could say, yes, but that's, again, I'm going back to what we said before, colonialization. You could do whatever excuse you want. It is what it is. Perhaps in the future it'll change. I don't know. But I could tell you, my lifetime, and basically it's been like that for, I don't know, hundreds of years. That's the way it is. So I say something. Jealousy leads to anger from the non-whites. I'm talking mostly with blacks. But your jealousy leads to anger, and that leads to that vengeful feeling. The best way to get respect from the other races is to respect yourself. That is for black men to respect black women, and black women, Candace Owens, to respect black men. Now, there's always going to be anomalies. This is not an anomaly, though. Meaning the desire to be with white men and white women. Meaning, I'm not an Asian. I'm like, oh, wow, what an anomaly. You really like white men? I do. Wow. Ever heard of the Oxford study? I don't even know what that is, except for rumors. I don't need to know it. I've seen it firsthand. The desire for Asian women to be with white men, it's like 99%. So the point is going back. Let me do this story now. Well, yeah, let me do this story now. I think it's pretty funny. Let me finish this thing. So this is basically a fucking Spanish guy or something, and he is enthralled on how do I get these women? Why wouldn't he travel to Africa and do this with black women? Perhaps he doesn't find black women as attractive as these blonde women. What do you want me to do? Change his mind? This is what he thinks.
Here today with these beautiful girls. What's your name?
Kaisa.
Kaisa and?
Faya.
And Faya. Where are you guys from?
Here, Denmark. Denmark.
All right, so what would you say would be like the best features a guy can have in order for you guys to be attracted to him, you know?
Again, it's the same thing. You see these videos. These are basically non-white men traveling particularly to these blonde-haired, blue-eyed countries and always saying, how can I get you? So again, to the black women, I feel sorry because black women also have jealousy over these women. I would say to the black women, don't focus your anger on white women. Focus your anger on black men who are, yes, chasing white women. That's where your anger should be focused on, to these black men, to say, stop putting white women over us, black women. But it's the same thing here. You see these videos too with black men doing the same thing. How many videos have you seen of a white man in Africa interviewing African women saying, how can white men get, when you're on like dating apps, these are global international dating apps. Do you know the amount of African women, black women that are chasing white men? It's through the roof. But you don't ever see the opposite. Like I said, how many videos, YouTubes do you see of a white man in Africa interviewing beautiful black women in Africa saying, how can a white guy get you? We don't need to. It's basically a drop in the bucket.
Like, I just think it's the personality.
Personality.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he could be like ugly as.
So again, these women are retarded too. We know it. Women, that's why I'm saying women should have never been given the right to vote. Same thing. What makes you attractive in a man? Personality. I'm going to give you a hint what women are attracted to in all this stuff combined. They want big guys, big dicks, big wallets, white guys, powerful, intelligent. They want the alpha male. Not 100%, it's about 90%. Why aren't these women talking like that? Because women, truth be told, are emotionally immature. There could be a time, again, I haven't studied this psychology, there could be a time where women are more emotionally mature than a man in their teenage years. But this whole thing of that women are more emotionally mature, that's absolute horseshit. Because emotional maturity is actually one of the most prime aspects of leadership. That's why women don't make good leaders. So when you interview these women, they almost talk like they're children. Like, and you're like, how can that be? Because women are emotionally immature, which is another reason they never should have got the right to vote. Never should have got the right to vote.
But if his personality is good, it's okay?
Yes, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You're not lying?
No, I'm not lying.
Hey, let's go. I love that. I love that. And you?
Same.
The same.
Yeah.
The same. Okay. You that you're dating an American, what do you think about Americans?
I think they're like nicer.
They're nice.
Yeah.
They're nicer.
Because Scandinavian boys are playboys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really.
Really? Okay. So if you guys had to date outside,
I'd probably say Scandinavian boys. You know, there's a sperm clinic in Denmark, which is world renowned. And why? Oh, this is another thing too. I should do videos on that sperm clinics. But women's demand. So when I was at Harvard, I was recruited to be part of one of these international sperm clinics. I know I'm doing a subject. I think that's enough in the video. It's the same bullshit. We know it. But I thought this is pretty interesting. So, okay. So I was recruited. I didn't want to do it for many reasons. I'm not against sperm donation, but I think as a man, if you give your sperm, you better choose who the woman's going to be. And again, I'm not a big advocate on mixed race kids. So I was getting recruited. I asked the sperm, this is a major international sperm clinic, and most men don't care. They just do it for money. But I said, if I give you my sperm, can I choose the woman who gets it? They said, no, that's not how it works. We give you money, you give us the sperm, and then we'll do it. And even back then, this is before I went to China, even I wasn't as woke. I don't know what these words are now, black pill, blue pill, red pill, woke. I'm confused, whatever. I was still a little woke back then, and that is because back then, I always dated white women, but it was subliminal. I would have never said, I only date white women, I prefer white women. I would always say that. I know what I would said. If they said, David, do you prefer white women? I'm like, dude, all women are beautiful, and I date anyone. It doesn't matter. Yeah, but David, why does it seem like you always are dating white women? Now, I've definitely had sex with non-white women, but I'm talking like my girlfriends in America. They were always white women, but I think it would just been subliminal. I didn't know it, but I just sort of preferred it. After living in Asia, no way. It's direct. I'm not into it. So anyway, back to the story. The sperm clinic, because again, this is about supply and demand. So I'm talking about hierarchy. Again, I don't make the rules, the people make the rules. So this is now demand from women, because obviously when someone goes to a sperm clinic for sperm, these are women, these are not men. So what is the demand for women? Now, truth be told, this is not just American women. This is European women. This is also Asian women. Of course, Asian women that need a little bit more money, because I've told you before, the sperm clinics in China do not allow foreign men to give sperm. Because if they did, it would be, if it was white man sperm, the thing would be sold out. So what am I saying about this? News to everyone about sperm. I didn't know this until I agreed. 90% of sperm donors, this is what women want. It doesn't matter if it's a black woman, an Asian woman, a white woman, an Indian woman. Doesn't matter. 90% of women want this type of sperm. I keep telling it. I didn't make the rules. This is it. One, they want a white guy. Again, I could care less if Indian woman said, no, I prefer a sperm of a black man. I mean, fuck it, I could care less. I have fun, but they don't. Indian woman, Asian woman, white man, they want white men. Then they want tall white men. Third, they want colored eyes. Not necessarily blue eyes, they want colored eyes. The build is the one that, and then they want higher education. And they want at that. The one thing that had a little flexibility was the body. And women do have variabilities. So some men might think, oh, all women want these muscle-bound, football players. Some women prefer that more slender. Think of a soccer player or a tennis player, where other women want, whatever. Men, now, none of them want fat guys, that's for sure. But in terms of the muscular build, there's a variety of that. Really, think of that big, strong linebacker or that heavyweight boxer, or it could be more like a slim soccer player. There was variable in that. All the women wanted a high IQ. So Ivy League, high IQ. They all wanted color eyes. Blue was number one, but there were women that wanted green or gray, but colored eyes. Hair color was off. A lot preferred blonde, but it had a little variety. All were white. All were tall. I think it was like you had to be, I mean, if you weren't 6 feet tall, done. But anyway, that was it. And then the 10% of sperm donors, that's diversity for whatever reason. So you asked me, is that fair? I don't make the rules, people. But what is not fair is for us not to talk about these topics and the truth. And I believe it. And for some reason, I want to bring up the term white supremacist. I have never in my life met a white supremacist. There could be there. I don't. I've never met a man that says, white people are superior and I want to kill or destroy other races. What I have met is plenty of white people that say, I want to get the fuck away from these other races. I've met many of that. I don't see a problem with that. That's how it is with these other races. China's for China, India's for India, Israel's for the Jews, all this stuff. So I have met many white men and white women that say, listen, I don't have a problem. That's how I am. I don't have a problem with these other. I don't have a problem with the Chinese. I think the cheeky Chinese are smart people. In some ways, their culture, and I don't have a problem with it. But I believe in separation. Just like this, there should be a separation with gender, right? We have women's bathrooms, we have men's bathrooms. Sometimes separation keeps order in the system. And so what I'm saying is, I have met many white people that have said, listen, I don't have a problem with other races, but I kind of want to be left alone. Have you ever heard of this thing called white flight? That's it right there. So I've seen that. But anyway, back to the thing about the whole hierarchy. I don't make the rules, people. I also didn't make the rules and go to Asia, like I said, and say, Asian women, you must worship white men. No. It's Chongnam Meiwai. These white women are dying. Like I said, 99% of Asian women, white passport, white men, and white kids, generally speaking. And Asian men are very similar. They would dream of a white woman, but if they can't get a white woman, they're going with Asian women. I've rarely met men that are chasing black women. Sorry, it just is what it is. I personally, it's going to sound very rude what I'm about to say, but to black women, you're going to appreciate truthfulness as long as it's not ill intent. I personally view black women as, generally speaking, the least attractive women. But I'm not alone. It is what it is. And this is also something with Asian men. Ask women around the world, and guess what they'll put? They'll put Asian men as the lowest. But we can look at other stuff. Asian men, look how intelligent they are. Look what they built. Look at Japan, even China. There's always pros and cons to everything. Look at black women. I can tell you something. Look at their athleticism that they also get from black men. So there's always pros and cons. But I'm just talking from a general attractiveness. I didn't make the rules. It is what it is. Black women and Asian men. So going back to the topic of black men chasing white women, black women, your number one target of anger, it shouldn't be white women. It should be black men. And anyone who's listened to me talk now for a couple of years, when I talk about betrayal, I've never said China has betrayed us. I've never said Russia has betrayed us. And even from a racial standpoint, I've never said anyone but white people have betrayed us, the patriots of the West. I haven't. So the point is, focus your anger on who is responsible. And when black men chase, and they're chasing white women, what is it doing to black women? It's a slap in the face to you. It's a slap in the face to black mothers. It's really sad. And I find it. And so for that, like I said, focus your anger. We're going to do a couple more. I see Shane. Yeah, Shane talks about white, tall. It is what it is. Like I said, I didn't make the rules, and I was wondering if this is only for Asia. Of course, India is considered. It's not, man. I got friends in South Africa, white guys. It's universal. Go to South America. Like, for instance, in South America, the modeling agency in South America, white is right. It just is what it is, people. So like I said, the anger shouldn't be focused on white people because it shows you're jealous. The anger should be focused on your own people, the Indian man chasing white women, or the Indian woman chasing white men. That's how we get these hierarchical. But I would say, generally speaking, without a doubt, if you ask me what is the most desired people in the world, white men and white women, tall white men and white women, blue eyes, green eyes, white blonde hair. In fact, I could do that. But man, the Chinese, they have this, it's a fetish. It's a sexual fetish, but it's also political too. But I could tell you, Adolf Hitler, the Aryans, oh my God. I mean, these girls go googa gaga for Aryan. So again, the closer you are to blonde, blue-eyed, tall white man, I mean, you're gonna fucking clean house in Asia. So it's not white men doing it. It is what it is, people. So we're gonna go back to the black thing and talk about this. I'll look at the comments here. Let me see. Let me see if we got. I think we got one more comment though from. Here we go.
Raised by a single.
Okay, this is interesting. And trust me, look at me. Look what I talked about Candace Owens. I kind of like what Candace Owens is talking about Israel and this Erica Kirk. What did I say? Especially we lack good intelligence officers in America. These intelligence officers suck. Most of them are just dumb people that couldn't get really good jobs. I'm telling you something. I haven't done any investigation into this Erica Kirk thing. You could just tell something is very, very strange. This is about Erica Kirk, but it combines the story. Interesting enough, I used to live in Beirut. Interesting stories in Beirut, what she's saying. But what she's saying in Candace Owens is true. This is about Erica Kirk. Supposedly Erica Kirk is mixed. She's Swedish and she's Lebanese.
Erica herself is therefore Syrian Lebanese on her mother's side and Swedish on her father's side. So something which struck me as immediately obvious.
And I'm sure Erica Kirk thanks every day that she's got that Swedish DNA. Lebanese is cool, and I hung out with what's called the Lebanese Christians. The Lebanese Christians and the Lebanese Arabs are different, not only by religion, Christianity and Muslim, but they're also by race. A lot of the Christian Lebanese, it's kind of like the Jews. Think of them sort of like the Ashkenazi Jews. They are a more European, and the Lebanese Muslims are more Arab. But generally speaking, go to Lebanon. Those Lebanese men, goo goo gaga for Scandinavian, blonde hair, blue-eyed white women. It's universal, people. We all know it. So Erica Kirk, she's like, boom, jackpot. I got this European DNA.
About Erica is just how deeply she identifies as Swedish, despite her public insistence that she was raised by a quote-unquote single mother. Think about that just from a social perspective. If Erica was indeed raised by a single mother, wouldn't you expect her to identify more deeply with those Lebanese Syrian roots, right? You might even understand it if she resented her Swedish roots. Like, my dad didn't do anything, and so I'm not even doing anything with the Swedes. I don't even like being Swedish. To the contrary, Erica feels so deeply attached to her Scandinavian roots that in 2019, she moved to begin the process of obtaining her dual citizenship. She posted this.
So we don't talk. It's an interesting story. I think what Candace Owens is doing on the investigation for Erica Kirk is awesome. Again, I don't want to change the subject, but what it is when you see these mixed racial kids, I see it all the time in Asia. Boy, I could tell you something. They love their white DNA. Same thing with who the hell is Meghan Markle? I'm sure Meghan Markle, who's another piece of shit. Like, if you're a black man, think about Meghan Markle. She went for the white man. And I guarantee Meghan Markle's like, man, I'm so happy I got white DNA. But think about it. What if Meghan Markle says, you know something? I'm so proud of my African DNA. I'm going to get myself a beautiful, strong black man. I'm going to move to Africa. I'm going to learn an African language. That's bullshit. We know that. So the point is black men, why are you the lowest on the totem pole in terms of, well, not necessarily. I mentioned that with Asian men, but I'm talking with white men. Why are you at a lower status than white men? I don't know. Ask Meghan Markle. That would be good. And if people think, well, those are just onesies or two, no, it's not. I rarely do I see white men chasing black women. Black men chasing white women, pretty much the norm. But again, if you're a black man, yeah. Why did Meghan Markle choose? Now, of course, this is an extraordinary white man. I mean, let's face it, he's the prince and this and that. But still, there's so many stories on that. But it goes back to your knowledge. There's these talk shows here now. Let's do two of these.
In the face to black women on the NFL and NBA draft days when the men are trained.
Okay, so what we're talking about now is black athletes, and here's the point. when you're a black athlete, there's two things. One, mainly it's fame and fortune. You're rich. I mean, let's face it, athletes have millions and millions of dollars, and women universally are attracted to money. But I want nobody focuses on this. They focus on, well, now that black men have money, now they can choose. And who do they choose? They choose white women. So again, to the black woman slapping your face. But here's the point. I want to make this point now. Let me just do this. It's an interesting point. You hear a lot of these black men say, we chose white women not because of their beauty. It's a lie. We chose white women because they're more submissive, they have better temperaments, and black women are just so fucking angry, whatever. On face value, it makes sense. But then again, you'd say, well, wait a minute. If it's mostly about temperament, we'll just say submissive. Why don't you go with other ethnicities like Asian girls? I can tell you with Asian girls, I'm not into their DNA, but into their submissive. Oh my God. I mean, I'm not doing this to make fun, but I'm just trying to do it to show you. Oh yeah, with my Asian girls, I will use words like, listen, you're a fucking gook. I'm a white man. I'm superior to you. You listen to what I say. Do you understand, chink? Yes, sir. I'm not joking. So if the talk is about submissiveness, why don't black men get Asian women, right? Or you might say, David, if Asian women are why aren't you with Asian women? Well, remember, there's a difference between submissiveness culture and DNA. Now, if I could get a white woman with that culture, then I'm great. So, but the point being is to the black men, they'll say, no, we just prefer white women because, lack of a better word, submissive. Asian women are submissive. Why don't you get Asian women? Perhaps because on the looks category, white women are higher than Asian women. And I make a note to Asian women. I'm like, listen, don't even fool yourself. White women are better looking than you. Asian women do have, though, a good genetic. I do believe in maybe older age when you're looking at older Asian women. But generally speaking, you show me a hot, top of the line white model, a woman, and the equivalent of a top of the line hot Asian model, no way. Not even close. It's not even a comparison. So again, the reason why I want to put that out is you'll hear some of the excuse of the black athletes saying, we choose white women, not so much of their looks, but they're submissive. And black women aren't submissive. I don't know, have you ever heard of an Asian woman? I mean, Asian women I'm telling you from personal experience, they are fucking super submissive. They are much better than white women in that. So why don't you get an Asian woman? Because they're not white women. That's what they want. Because black men they look at white women and they're like, oh my God, it's a goddess. Where white men look at black women and we're not as attractive. It's just not as an attractive thing. But you show these snow bunnies to these black men, they're drooling. That's the main thing. Because ultimately, men, we are truly attracted much more on physical appearance. And the physical appearance of an attractive white woman, it's hands down number one. Don't believe me? Then I don't know black women and talk to the black men. Why are they chasing these white women? Let's go back to this.
Transitioning into the league, they turn and kiss their mama and they turn and hug that white woman, right? We see it all over, and it pissed black women off. You see black Twitter, shade room comments, and see people be slick. Like shade.
So it's pissing black women off. And if you're a black woman, I feel for you. What I disagree, though, is if this anger is directed at white women or white men. Your anger, and I agree with you because I don't even like it from white women. They're a piece of shit. I see these women, they are absolute garbage. So that's why my anger is not dedicated toward black men. It's not. My anger is dedicated toward white women. So if you're a white or if you're a black woman, your anger should not be toward white women. It should be to black men because black men, they're really spitting in your face and saying, but to the white women, truth be told, it's different. White women still prefer white men. They're just with the black guys because they have money. It just is what it is. They're whores. I mean, they're basically prostitutes. What are prostitutes after? Money. They're just walking prostitutes.
They know what they do. They'll just post congratulations to Todd Turner, and they'll make sure they zoom in on him hugging that white girl, right? They don't even mention her, but you see the comments light up because people pissed off. Another one gone, right? Now, I know you rub shoulders with a lot of these brothers and probably have had some real conversations around the mindset. What are some of the things those brothers are saying when you in that sports world on why they chose, even though they got that black mama, that whole
So let's go. Let's see what it is.
black family in that black living room, but they got that white girl sitting on the couch.
He's right. What he's trying to point out, it is, here I am, and I say this to the white women who choose a non-white man, particularly to have children with, you're slapping your body. Here's something I'm going to put. You ever hear about disowning? My father disowned me, or I disown them. The point it works, if you are a child and you choose outside your race and have a mixed kid, you disowned your parents before your parents disowned you, because that's what you said. And so it is to see the black mother and father of these rich athletes, because it's always about rich athletes, because unless you're a black man that has a lot of money, generally speaking, you can't get a white woman. But it really is a slap in the face. And so I'm curious what they're thinking. And the only thing I can think of is it's really shame. It's really sad. Like I said, and trust me, like I said, my focus is on the white women, but I really look at them as prostitutes, garbage, just garbage prostitute women.
Have you ever had a conversation to why they chose to make that decision?
Well, it's, first of all, you are right that black women generally, including the mothers that I've spoken to about it, they generally take it as an insult to them.
No way.
Well, thank him for speaking the truth. Otherwise, he's talking out of his asshole. Because I could tell you something. If you're a white man and you have a daughter who's white, because you should not have had. Remember, I lead by example. If I wanted to have mixed kids with cookies, I'd have over 100 kids by now. I'm not into it. But if you're a white man and your white daughter says, "Dad, I'm going to be with an Asian man. I'm going to be with a black man," and you're like, it doesn't matter. You are an absolute piece of shit cock. Because any normal white father would say, ain't happening. I could tell you something. If my white daughter did that, she is fucking disowned, and best of luck to her. That ain't happening. But to these black mothers, I would be amazed, because we're all human beings. We still operate in a similar psychological pattern. It'd be the same thing. And I'm telling you, when the black athlete says, "Hi, black mom, I'm going to get this snow bunny and have mixed kids with her because, mom, I think black women are ugly and I think white women are beautiful," it's nothing less than a slap in the face.
Like, you chose the opposite of what I am. I mean, whether it is, I'm not saying it is an insult to them, but that's how a lot of black women take it.
Wow.
I'm talking about the mothers even. It's but I think there's a few things, and again, you fall in love with somebody, you fall in love with them. But I think there's a lot of reasons you see that.
No, they're not falling in love. The white woman is with the black guy, generally speaking, because he's rich. The black man is with the white woman because the black man finds that white women in general are the most physically attractive women on this planet. He's not alone, by the way. That's it. That's generally. This thing called love is bullshit. Men are attracted very much to attractiveness, physical. Women do look at money. So the white woman, who's a prostitute, I've made this known, the white women who do this are piece of shit prostitutes. They look at the black man and they think, cha-ching. That's what a prostitute does. The black man looks at the white woman, just looks alone and says, "My God, that's the most beautiful thing I want." Boom. That's generally the baseline of why this happens.
And a lot of times the brothers go to, a big time college program, white school. And a lot of times the white girls are throwing themselves at them, and just really going at them, hard. Right. And then,
yeah, I'm sure Asian girls, well, no, not Asian girls. Asian girls are different. Asian girls, but the point is I'm sure black women are throwing themselves at them. So the same thing is for the same reason, and much more black women. Let's face it, not all white women like we know are prostitutes. But the point being is for every one white woman who's throwing themselves at a black athlete, There's for what, 5 black women throwing. So this whole thing of white women are throwing themselves at black athletes, I'm sure black women are also throwing themselves at black athletes. But the difference is the black athlete prefers the white woman.
And there are
That's
situations where this is not so much with athletes, but just a lot of maybe successful men in the corporate world. A lot of times they might have been, not all, but a lot of brothers might have been nerds. They was smart. They was bookworms, right? And I've heard brothers say this, and sisters wasn't feeling them. They was teasing them. Man, I ain't feel, you ain't cool, you know?
Yeah, okay, then why not go with an Asian girl or Indian girl? It's always the white. It's about attractiveness. Let's see where they're going on this.
They was after the cool brothers, the athletes and all that. And so then they become successful, and now sisters want them, but they like, oh, you wasn't feeling me back in the day while these white girls were, you know? And so that's something brothers have said. And then I also think that,
let me do this while I have this now about what he's trying to say about the cool thing and not. This is interesting, Mark Zuckerberg. When I went to Harvard, Mark Zuckerberg had recently left. And Mark Zuckerberg is, whatever, he's very popular around the world, but he's definitely also popular in Asia because the Asian girls are like, haha, see, white men prefer Asian women. No, the story with Mark Zuckerberg is this. Because when I got there, I was at Harvard in 2007. Mark had left. At that time, it was interesting. Facebook had just come out, but within Harvard. It was meant to be like an internal thing, whatever. So there were already rumor mills about this guy, Mark Zuckerberg, because even then they thought this thing could possibly go big. Here's the deal. First of all, and this goes to my story, Mark Zuckerberg is not a very tall guy. I think it's weird now that I'm used to centimeters. I'm not used to height. I think he's 170 centimeters. You got to look it up. I'm used to centimeters now, not height. I think height I don't even know, 5'7", 5'8". Look it up. He's 170 centimeters tall. So here's the point that most people don't want to know, especially I tell Asian girls. When he was at Harvard, he was one, not famous and not rich. Those are important points. At Harvard, he was kind of nerdy, okay? I'm not saying he's an ugly looking guy, but Mark is, I'm going to say he's average, but then considering his height. But when you're at Harvard, you can't really brag to Harvard girls that, hey, I'm at Harvard, because the girls are at Harvard too. So the point being, what I'm making is when he was at Harvard, he was chasing white women. He was chasing white women. But this actually is a good point. Now I'm making it. This is actually a good point to Asian women. So the white girls turned him down because they're like, you're not rich, you're not famous, and you're kind of nerdy. And we really don't care that you go to Harvard because we go to Harvard too. So he was not a ladies' man at Harvard. He got turned down by white women. The Asian girl, because like I said, as a white guy, I've seen it all the time. And hey, you don't have to be a fucking real, we're going to do videos again on white guys and Asian girls. Again, I was never really into it. And I remember at Harvard, I fucked a lot of Asian girls when I was at Harvard too. I mean, if you're a white guy and you can't get Asian girls, something is seriously wrong with you. So anyway, what's her name? Melissa Chun? Oh my God, talk about another guy who never should have been with an Asian girl. But to give her credit, she liked Mark. So she's like, I know you're not rich. I know you're not famous because this is before the Facebook thing. But she's like, I don't know, you're a fucking white guy. And she was with him. So the point being, I'm sure there's a lot of white women in Harvard now who think to themselves, they probably made the wrong call. They should have went with Mark. But the point is, I'm making the point also to Asian girls in Asia to say, listen, don't assume that Mark was pursuing Asian girls. He was pursuing white women. They turned him down. And now, of course, now Mark he could get almost any white girl he wants because he's famous, he's rich, and this and that. But you got to go back to Harvard where he wasn't famous, he wasn't rich. He was pursuing white women. And again, he's like 5'7". I think, look it up. He's 100, whatever. You look up his height. I think he's kind of a short guy. And the only girls that would take him are Asian girls. But that's actually a plus to Asian girls to at least, they look past the other things where white women won't. But again, I just want to make that point. But back to the black guys thing is, you don't see them saying, when you're an athlete and they say white women are throwing themselves at these black athletes. I'm not going to deny that. You're telling me black women aren't throwing themselves at these black athletes? Asian girls may not be. Asian girls are racist. They prefer white guys, right? But I'm sure Indian girls are. I don't know, fucking Arab girls. You get my point. There's other girls. But why does it always seem the white woman? And particularly the closer that white woman is, the blonde hair, blue eyes, that's what so maybe the black men, they really prefer white women, regardless of white women being submissive. They just look at those women like the typical man and just say, man, that's the hottest thing I've ever seen, the most attractive, the most beautiful thing. And that's kind of, it is throughout the entire world. No one wants to do this because we can't do this because, again, it's a controversial subject. But if you did a poll of all men throughout the entire world, where do you think blonde, blue-eyed white women would stack? The entire world. South America, Africa, the Middle East, Asia, America. You had all these different women, Asian women, even white women with black hair. Who do you think would stand out in top? White women, blonde hair, blue eyes. Maybe that's it. Maybe that kind of answers some of the points. Let's keep going back.
I mentioned kind of white supremacy and racism being in.
Yeah, see, J Mitch. Okay, J Mitch. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. So Mark Zuckerberg is listed between 5'6" and 5'7". I mean, that would be I don't know. I forgot what the height levels is now. I mean, I don't know what's considered tall in America. I don't know if it's. I mean, for women now, I mean, these women now, if you're not at least 6 feet tall, well, I can tell you for the sperm donors. Oh, yeah, great thing. So for sperm donors, what they wanted was preferred height is 6'2" and above. So, yeah, I should have said that. So if you're even 6 feet tall or 6'1", you're kind of in the gray. Anything below 6 feet tall is short. But the preferred height is actually 6'2" and above, meaning 6'3", 6'4", 6'5". I'm 6'5". But the point being is, I think we could all agree, Mark Zuckerberg at 5'6" or 5'7", okay, what is his face? I'd say average. I think that's a pretty good, fair assessment. So he's got an average face. He's not ugly. Now, yeah, he was at Harvard, but when you're picking up a Harvard girl, that's not helping. He wasn't famous. He didn't have the rich money. And oh, by the way, it was known that he was kind of a nerd at Harvard, which I get it. Not attractive. White women, no. It was the Asian girl who was like, man, I see it all the time. I see these Asian girls, they'll look at these white guys and like, oh my God, he's such a stud. Like white guys in America would be like, that guy's not a stud. Like I can't explain it, but the Asian women, their standards for white men masculinity is at a much lower level than white women's. It just is what it is. So again, I'm telling you, there are Mark Zuckerberg guys, white guys who look like him in Asia, and they are just fucking cleaning house. Where we know that a guy like Mark Zuckerberg at 5'6", 5'7", sort of average looks, but we'll just say he's got an average job. I don't know what job. An accountant. We'll say he makes an account, whatever. He makes $60,000 a year, which is fine. That's an average money with that. What would most white women look to a guy like that? Dog shit. Ain't gonna happen. That guy in Asia, he's like a fucking model. I mean, he's like a model. So again, going back to the thing with Mark Zuckerberg, don't fool yourself. He was chasing white women. They turned him down. Okay, let's keep going.
Ingrained in Black American culture. I think in our culture, it's not all of us, but a good number of us, light skin and straight hair, or
Well, I wonder where he's getting this point here. This is an interesting point.
Is considered superior.
Okay. Now, I personally, of course, believe white women, blonde hair, I don't want to use the word superior, but you can find, is my number one choice. So I say again to black men, if you constantly put white women, and oh, by the way, white men, black women, on the pedestal as being number one, then you put us on there as the superior, as the highest level. So again, if you want people in the world to respect you, black people, maybe respect black people. Because I'm telling you, when you're a black man and you choose a white woman or different, or an Asian woman or an Indian woman, but let's face it, 99% of the time you prefer a white woman. When you pick her to be your wife that makes kids, it is a slap in the face to your black mother. You are disrespecting your black mother. You are devaluing your black mother along with your black father. You are not respecting your black mother and father. If you do not respect your black family, your black people, why should I respect you? That's the cornerstone of this entire argument.
And so if you like, a lot of times a brother might look for a light-skinned sister, right? That's got straight hair or whatever. But think about it. Any white person, white girl, she white and she got straight hair. Anyone.
We all know it. You're a white girl and you're not very good looking, you could easily get a black man. For this, we've heard this story before, like the fat, ugly white chicks are with black men. It's similar with the dorky white guy. I don't care how dorky of a white guy you are, you'll get an Asian girl. Guess what? I don't care how fat or ugly you are as a white woman, you'll get a black man. Why? Because black men look at white women as superior and Asian women look at white men as superior. Don't blame us, blame them. But I've said this many times too to Asian women. When you chase white men and you have mixed kids with white men, guess what you do? It's a slap in the face to your Asian father. But guess what Asian men are doing too? They prefer white women. Same thing. I mean, these Asian men are just Google. It's the same thing with black women. So the same thing with black women. The same reason that you will disrespect black men for chasing white women, which I agree with you. You'll chase white women, or you will chase white men. Look at Candace Owens. Does Candace Owens deserve, what's the word I'm looking for? A bit of not retribution, but a bit of feedback, negative feedback from the black community. What about her black mother and black father? Same thing. It's the same thing. What she did is also devalued and disrespected the black family.
Them gonna look good. That's why sometimes you've seen brothers with, you wonder, wow.
Why you do that?
She's not as fine, but to him, she got straight hair and her skin is light. Mm-hmm. And so I think all of those things, it's a combination of various things. And again, some brothers just genuinely fall in love with a white woman, and that's
no, not genuinely. 99% of black men fantasize about being with white women. But 99% of black men probably can't. Remember, we're talking about athletes. You know what the percentage of these multi-million-dollar athletes? It's less than 1% of the population. So yeah, because they're rich and famous, they have the opportunity to get not white women, but white prostitutes. That's what these women are. They're prostitutes. That's why. But don't fool yourself. The same thing I talked about Mark Zuckerberg. Oh, so many black men dream about being with a white woman. They can't. Remember, these are professional athletes. They're rich. And these white women are prostitutes.
That's fine too. But I just think when you won't date sisters, that's when it's a problem.
I like that take, man. See, I like Chris Broussard, man.
We're going to do one more, same topic.
A lot of the times, because you don't make that kind of money and you don't get that level of status and want to come back and deal with a woman that's going to sit there and argue with you. Like the dumbest thing that women say is like, oh.
See, this guy, Myron Gaines, which is interesting. I think he was a former federal agent, something like that. But I think Myron makes the point here that he's like, no, black guys like white women because they're more submissive. I don't know. What did I say? Asian women are pretty submissive. Maybe Arab or Mexican or whatever. But the point is, I disagree. I think the number one reason black men are choosing white women is they view them as extremely beautiful. 1, 2, hierarchy. They view them as which I same thing me. When I'm with an Asian woman, it doesn't I tell her very often, I mean, unless this woman is just some world famous billionaire, generally speaking, when I'm with an Asian woman, let me push this here. When I'm with an Asian woman, I'm giving her what's called face, mienza, as they say in China. Well, give me mienza. What give me mienza? I'm giving her face. Why? Because I'm a tall white man. So guess what? Same thing with black men. To be with a white woman, so there's attractive this and that. So I'm not buying it that black men are, I mean, hey, if you're a white man, I mean, do we really think white women today are submissive? It's horrible. We all know that. It's absolutely horrible. I think black men are pursuing white women. Again, attractiveness, number one, status, number two, and then we could go on to 3 or 4, but those would be the 2 things.
Yeah, you don't want a woman that challenges you? No, you dumb whore. Like, no, thank you. We gotta go out and fight the world. Last thing I want to do is come back and argue with a woman. So what I'm about to say does not represent any of the members of the panel. So I'm just going to be very honest and blunt about what I'm about to say, because it might be offensive. The reality is most women are retarded. Okay. And the reality about this, that
I think I agree. I think I agree a lot with how Myron Gaines talks about women in general. Again, but women aren't retarded. White men are retarded for allowing white women to get the vote. I only talk about white men and white women because we're also retarded. These mixed ethnic societies never work. So that's retarded. But when white men allowed white women the right to vote, do you blame the women or you blame the men? You blame the men. We were retarded. How we allowed that is beyond belief.
you guys need to understand, when I say that most women are retarded, is that the software is always the same. The hardware is what's different, whether the skin color, the cultural background, whatever, the hardware is always the same. Sorry, the software is always the same. The hardware might be different. So the only real difference, right, sometimes is cultural situations, background, the way they grew up, etc., will maybe dictate their mannerisms, the way they behave, and what they're trying to do. But at the end of the day,
and one thing I got to admit, after living in the non-Western world, Asia, it is more difficult for me to think about living in America because, yeah, how I treat women now and racial, like I said, I've anyone that's probably remembered me in America would probably say, Jesus, this guy David has changed a lot. It's a different environment. But I keep saying the way white men, the way we get treated by women, the way we get treated by racial minorities, and the way we get treated by immigrants, it's just, I can't understand it anymore. Because once you go to a non-Western country, it's just totally different. It's totally different. And we've been walked all over as white men that it's hard for me to re-engage.
all women are trying to do the same thing, which is do what? Get the best man that they can get based on their education level, socioeconomic level, where they stand socioeconomically. And that's just kind of how it goes. Now, different races and different cultures obviously go about it in different ways, right? We can look at a lot of black women there. It
comes to women, and I'm not even just talking about athletes, I'm talking about great men in general. Do you think the cultural differences or the race plays a role in whether or not men are attracted to them, or do you just think that it's culture by itself and the type of men that women go after?
I mean, it's such a multitude of different things. Like if we're going to talk about NBA players, right, for example, just as the first one. So a lot of these guys play college first. When you're in college, a lot of the times you're in a white dominant, situation where you're an athlete, you're Division I athlete. I could say this from experience.
I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm sure they're going to, but I feel like they're also going to probably beat around the bush. So I'm going to give the one thing. We're going to end it here. No, I don't want to do it that because I want to be respectful on this. We'll do other topics where there have been studies of truly why the biology of white people, literally the biology that human beings, to include, are biologically more engineered to be attracted to these traits. We're talking blonde hair, blue-eyed, white skin. Has nothing to do with culture and literally about biology. I'll do it in another video. It's also something I learned in Asia. But what I want to do is go back to this and say this to the blacks, because we focus on you because you're at, generally speaking, the lowest level of hierarchy. Why? Because anyone in this world, they look upon their own people, their own culture. I mean, think about it. How many if we put as many times as black people complain that they were slaves and they were forced to come to America, what would happen if we put black people back on ships and forced them to go back home to Africa? They would be crying. They would be scrying. Meaning, what if white people were forced in America to go back to Europe? Not as bad. I mean, what? England's not so bad. Germany, Switzerland, France, right? In fact, many Americans do leave and go there. So if you look at which race of people have the least amount of respect for their own people, show me a black person that gets money. They're going to get a white woman. They're going to leave the black community. They're going to live with white people. You know, how many black people do you know want to learn a foreign language, or we'll just say an African language? Not. So what I'm trying to say to the black people is, I know it. You probably look around, you're like, we don't get enough respect. Do you respect black people? Do you respect your culture? Do you respect your people? And I'm telling you, every time you see a black man chasing, wanting to be with, or with a white woman, he basically says, hey, black women, eat shit. I mean, that's generally what he's saying, as blunt as it is. Because I can tell you something, it doesn't happen the opposite. Most of the white women that are doing it are prostitutes, and we look down upon these women. But generally, if you interview white men and you say, who's the most attractive woman in your eyes? Most white men, to include me, are going to say white women, white women. In fact, if you interviewed white women, their most attractive is going to be white men. That's just normal, I would say. But if you look at blacks, their desire to be with white people, to not be with black people, to learn white culture, everything. Because at the end of the day, to the blacks, think about it. Why don't you leave America and you go back to Africa? Because you look down upon Africa. You do. You look down upon Africa. You look down upon African people. You look down upon African culture. You're not really interested in studying it. So the point being is, I want to end this with Leadership 101. It comes down to this, to the black people. If you don't respect yourselves, why should other people respect you? The question is not, this is related, the question is not, why don't white people want to live with black people? The question is, why don't black people want to live with black people? That same point, the same thing. The question is not, why doesn't a white man want to marry a black woman? Or why doesn't a white woman want to marry a black man? The question is, why doesn't a black man prefer a black woman and vice versa? That's the key. That's the best leader. And I'm doing this really from my heart. And I'm telling you, because if you think white people treat you bad, the experience that I have in China is more than 99% of any American could ever imagine, to include our yo-yo people in our government. And I'm telling you, the Chinese government and the Chinese people are not that much different, to include even Japan. And what is my point? If you think the white man treats you bad, you better pray and hope that the Asian man does not take charge. Because I can tell you, the Asian people, they look upon you as monkeys. It is what it is. You could take it up with them. The white man, we've treated you the best. Don't think so? Name it. But I go back to the point. If you want respect, and we all do, I want respect, you want respect. It's a human need. We want respect. Where does it start? Respect yourself. And besides yourself, respect your family, respect your mother, respect your father, respect your people. You're very proud to say African American, then respect Africans. And when you start doing that, then other people will start respecting you. So yes, if I see a black athlete, because it's usually only a black athlete, because you need money, and yes, the white woman is with you, basically she's a prostitute. But when you choose the white woman over the black woman, what you're doing is you're degrading who you are and your people. And it's not just an anomaly. If it was, because even in the laws of nature, these are not anomalies. Show me a rich black man, and I'll show you a black man who's chasing a white woman to get married with. It's more than an anomaly. The same thing with Asian women chasing white men. It ain't an anomaly. It's 99.9%. So that's what I want to leave it. I'll look at any questions. If there's any questions, but I just want to leave it at that because I understand it's a sensitive topic to black people. We could talk about other races, but I do want to know that you have the power yourselves. And that power is, if you want other people to respect you, respect yourself. And the time is it just goes over and over. Black people want to be with white people. Black people are not. When we talk about cultural appropriation, let's start with what language you're speaking. You're speaking a European language called English. How many times do black people say, we're tired of speaking English, we want to learn our African language? I've never heard that in my life. Or how many times do I hear black people say, we're leaving America and we're going back to Africa? you'd get respect from white people. Even me, and I'm not changing the subject, but I viewed that the system in the military, the system in the FBI, and the system even in America was just unjust and not bad. And I just left politely. I didn't want to make a scene. I just politely left. You get respect. But if black people were like, you know something, we don't like how we're treated in America, we're going back to Africa. Believe it or not, you would get respect, but you're not going to do it. So again, we're going to leave it at that. And the Leadership 101 is, again, you want respect, earn it. And I'm telling you, we're just going to look at that microcosm. When you see these black men, it's not an anomaly. These black men are desiring to be with white women. When you do that, you are disrespecting your people. And so when white people look down upon you, why should you think anything different? Because you are looking upon them down as well. Okay, David Baumblatt from Terrapin Leadership. I appreciate your time. Lead to victory.